to ChiroHustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 188 of the ChiroHustle podcast. I'm your co-host Luke Millette, and here is your host Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Adam Trachsel, and if you want to hear some real talk, stay tuned. All right, so this is episode 188. This is Dr. Adam Trachsel coming in from the Pacific Northwest. And what city are you in?
I practice in Olympia, Washington right now. I'm in Kelso right now, but yep, Olympia, Washington.
Right on. So Luke and I are coming in from where, Luke?
Grand Junction, Colorado.
Nice. And,
we've had a good opportunity to chop it up and serve it off of camera and just really have some fun with you before this interview started. And I know that everybody listening out there is going to get a lot of takeaways, and obviously they're going to probably laugh a little bit too, because that's all we've been doing since we hooked up 23 minutes ago.
We like to yuck it up.
So, as per usual, we always ask our interview subjects to share with us their chiropractic story and what influenced them to become a chiropractor. So if you could just go ahead and share with us, that would be phenomenal.
I'll keep it as short and brief as I possibly can. I served in the United States Marine Corps right after high school, and went right into Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom, and helped a lot of people, met a lot of people, served for this country, and proudly did that. And then I got out, and I was having some issues. I couldn't sleep too well. I was having nightmares. I was having night sweats. I was depressed. You know, the VA and the military, they tried to put me on some depression meds. And I took them for a second, and I felt like I was, on drugs all the time. And, I was going to undergraduate, Mount Hood Community College, and I was trying to get on Adderall because all of the other kids were on Adderall in school, and I was falling behind. So basically everybody was on stimulants, and I was just struggling to make it. So I tried to get them to put me on Adderall, and they said, no, you're depressed. So they tried to give me some Wellbutrin. Well, anyways, long story short, I heard from a bunch of vets that Wellbutrin almost made them kill themselves. And, I thought that there had to be another way. And randomly, my friend called me up. He was going to Western States. And he said, hey, man, I need you to come down here and get adjusted. I was like, what? I was like, why? He's like, because I need to graduate from school. I was like, okay, how much does it cost? Right? And he's like, well, if you tell them that you're going to go to school there, it'll be free. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in. So I started going and getting adjusted at Western States. And after a while, I really started noticing a lot of the benefits of chiropractic, not just my pain going away, but I started sleeping better. I didn't have night sweats anymore, and I wouldn't wake up half as much, with nightmares. My famous nightmare that I always had, though, was not that I was in combat killing somebody. It was that I would wake up at 8:30 in the morning, and I would look over at the alarm clock, and it was 8:30, and I was supposed to be like working out or PT at like 5:30 in the morning. So I would keep on having that nightmare that I was waking up 3 hours late, and I was like, my heart was beating. Anyways, I would have less of those. And, my friend, he was in chiropractic school. His name's Dr. Ryan Macedo. Big shout out. He's like, what are you doing with your life? And I'm like, getting my prereqs like everybody else. He said, why don't you become a chiropractor? And, it took me about 5 seconds, and I was like, why don't I become a chiropractor? And the rest is history. Like we said before, I had my time at University of Western States, and then I went through Life West, and I really learned what chiropractic was about. And here we are today. I have a postgraduate diplomate in pediatrics. We see mostly PIP and work injuries, but I love adjusting kids because I want to have the biggest impact I possibly can on this next generation. And I hurt so much for the kids that are growing up these days in society because of what's going on, all the stuff that's going on. So that's how I came to chiropractic. What keeps me going is the kids and being able to help the kids and all those families out there. So I'm sure there'll be a question that goes on that.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you the first doctor in your family?
I am, definitely. I definitely, on my mom's side, I was the first to even graduate college. So
What does it mean for your family to have that you be the doctor and the Marine both?
They still don't really listen to half the shit that I say, but they were proud of me for serving, in the Marine Corps. As a chiropractor, if I'm being 100% honest, I've adjusted my mom now for years. But the rest of my family is still, not quite there, if I'm honest. And also too, I think it's just like, I get wrapped up. I'm like, okay, we're helping these 500 different people, every single week. And, I've invited them to come and see and say hi and see what we're all about, but we'll keep on working on them, and hopefully someday we'll be able to make an effect on them. They think it's awesome that I graduated from chiropractic school. They're still in that old mindset though of they call it chiropractics, oh, you do chiropractics. And they still look at it as a little bit of quackery, I think, that they don't really understand it. So
will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Will you send them this interview to your family?
Yes, I will.
Listen to it so they can get to know you a little bit better?
Yes, I will. 100%. I swear I will do that.
Because I think sometimes when we detach ourselves from our genetic culture where we're brought up, and then we go on to become this massive healer and hero in your community. Like you said, you can take care of 500 people a week, but the hardest people, I always tell people, that are the people closest to us. And it's not because they're the closest to us. It's because they're closest genetically bonded to us. And those people that we're closely genetically bonded to are the hardest people to build influence with, because you're the kid that was riding his bike around the block that wouldn't come home when the streetlights came on.
Yeah,
so
100%.
For them to say, I'm going to trust you as my healthcare, beacon of light, they don't get that.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. And I will do that. Definitely. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better. My credibility on their level is not where it needs to be, but I definitely will send them this, and you know what? I'll show them exactly what chiropractic can do for them and what I can do for them as well.
So what are some things that make you unique as a chiropractor that might set you apart from other doctors?
Good question. Well, like I said, just a little briefly, I don't know too many other chiropractors, at least in the area that I am, that have a postgraduate diplomate in pediatrics. A lot of chiropractors, they, like we were talking about earlier, we're a jack of all trades and a master of none. A lot of the time we kind of focus on a whole bunch of different things. And I think I myself, I do my own thing as far as diversified and my own style. But I do also mix it up with some upper cervical. I adjust kids most of the time and use a bunch of different techniques and ways of adjusting kids. But really, like, also too, I guess I'm not afraid, and what I mean when I say that is there's a lot of chiropractors out there, like we were talking about earlier, that would never try doing the ring dinger or the humdinger, just because that's something that they think that they can hurt somebody, or that might really hurt them. It's not that I'm not afraid of hurting somebody. I just know that that's never happened to me. I've been all over the world adjusting people in Haiti, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Mexico, Canada. And sure, I've seen maybe an osteoporotic woman here or there, that maybe got a rib or something like that. But doing the humdinger on somebody, I've never seen it hurt somebody, So what makes me different is that I'm willing to walk into a store without a mask and tell them the reason why I'm not wearing a mask. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get not only the person or the patient out of pain, but to help them in their life. So it's kind of a dedication, a different, a different mantra of life, a different way I go about things, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Well, there was a doc that just interviewed me today. His name's Dr. Ryan Schrock. And he said at the end of it, he's like, so are there any parting words and where you like to share with us today? And I go, yeah. I own my face. I own my body. And yeah. I own my intellectual property, which is my mind.
Exactly.
And the mind is the last frontier.
Amen.
You have to own your own.
Exactly.
And if you don't, 100%. Someone else will try to own yours.
G. Martini told me that.
Yeah, so it's some big idea stuff, man. It's some BJ Palmerisms that like we have like this innate potential and this innate intelligence. So we have the ability to know what we know, but also to transcend that to others now. And I really believe that what you said is, you have the ability to communicate and you have the ability to heal. And when you marry those together, that's a beautiful thing. And that's really what chiropractic is. And
100%.
The science of philosophy, art, all that comes together. And, there is the above, down, inside out method with like how we think is what we become, and how we receive care is how we heal. And, I told him also, it's not about how we feel, it's about how we heal. And it's not about how you come into this game and how you break down. It's about how you build up. And, it's about the healthier source that doesn't get injured. It's the healthier source that doesn't get sick. So people need to do a better job of taking care of themselves with their personal responsibility, practicing healthy habits. Go back and study James Chestnut. Eat well, think well, move well, but also get adjusted. And I think that if we understand that that's the revolution that we all need to pay attention to, a mask means nothing.
You're pumping me up, man. Woo! Hey, Jim, if chiropractic school goes to online, you're not going to become a chiropractor. You're going to become a chiropractic school president. Hey, just like Brian Kelly. Remember Brian Kelly? He wasn't a doctor in the United States. Hey, shout out to Brian Kelly, too. We still love you. We know some crazy stuff was going on at Life West with the money, but hey, you saved that place. Seriously, straight up. I swear that. So, yeah, you don't need to become a chiropractor. You can just become a chiropractic school president, because literally what a lot of the profession is needing and missing is exactly what you just said. A good amount of the chiropractic schools don't believe in above, down, inside out. They don't believe that the power that made the body heals the body. And if you don't believe that, then what the hell are you doing becoming a chiropractor? Literally. Like, if you don't believe that the body can heal itself, get the hell out of here. Seriously. And if you think, if you're not telling your patients that also as well, like Billy DeMoss used to say, going to the chiropractor for pain only is like robbing a bank and only stealing the pens. a lot of these chiropractors, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but they don't get the big idea. They really don't get the big idea. Honestly, at Western States, the green books, that was called forbidden reading. They were locked up in a part of the library that you couldn't access. Forbidden reading. But I just can't believe this. And you know how many times too that we as a profession have fought off drugs and surgery? We don't want to go the way of the osteopath. And I'm glad that, osteopaths, they prescribe and, they do surgery, but chiropractors use their hands to heal people. And that's what I'm about. I want to be able to help people without drugs and surgery because I've been on the other side. My mom was on 5-6 different medications, close to death, morbidly obese. They're like, oh yeah, you need your high cholesterol, you need your high blood pressure, and you need all these depression meds and this and that. You need your thyroid medication. We got her off all of those. She's lost over 100 pounds, and she's added, more than 10 years to her life. So, you know what? If the only person that it was worth it, I would have paid millions of dollars for that information and the ability to be able to help them or, help them heal from whatever ails them.
Well, the real thing is it's what you just said. Chiropractic adds years to life and life to years.
Yes.
And I come from Iowa, and I know when people get sick, people will sell the farm to save someone's life.
Yep. 100%.
And when you love people, you'll go the extra 100,000 miles to give somebody the medicine that they need. And sometimes the medicine is not medicine. Most of the time it's just an adjustment.
Straight up. Absolutely. So you grew up in Iowa?
Yeah, man. Davenport, Iowa is my hometown.
You've seen wow, I did not know that. You've seen have you been inside of BJ's house? Did you hear that? Have you been in BJ's house?
Oh yeah. Davenport? Oh yeah.
Nice. The upstairs too? That is where he's got all the crazy stuff?
I didn't go upstairs, but I've seen the whole downstairs, and I've toured the whole campus a couple times. Nice.
I love that. I also went down to Sarasota, Florida, where him and Sid Williams have houses like right next to each other, and that was when actually Sid was still alive, right before he died. But yeah, Sid Williams was the president of Life University, and helped basically found Life West Chiropractic College West as well, with Jerry Klum. So yeah, before Life West Chiropractic College was it was Pacific States. It was called Pacific States, and it was a NUCA. It was a NUCA chiropractic school. Can you believe that? Like a whole chiropractic school just on NUCA.
That's cool.
Yeah, pretty wild. Have you ever had NUCA done to you?
Yeah, they stand up above you, and they position themselves, and they do this, and all of a sudden you're adjusted. I think I adjusted your phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's barely, they're like hovering right over it, and there's like, and there's not like no actual movement or whatever, but they kind of like lean forward, and yeah, it's cool.
It's all.
I mean, they did
it's all hamstrings and pisiform.
Yes, and I mean, they've done research on it lowering blood pressure. So I mean, there's some legitimacy to that. So I think it's all cool.
Well, I'll tell you, Dr. Adam, you have the best internet connection we've ever interviewed someone on.
Coming here live from Kelso, Washington. Yeah, this is actually 2G. It's not 5G. This is 2G, and we're lucky to get 2G. It's usually 1.5. Let me plug in my dial-up real quick. Yeah, this is like what I'm using is like AOL 27.0. So I'm just waiting for that new CD to come in the mail.
Well, earlier you started talking about mantras. Can you maybe share with us what some of your mantras are?
Be the best person you possibly can be. Semper Fidelis, which means always faithful. So I'm a pretty loyal and faithful person to not only my family, but my people, that are involved in my life. Live every day like it's your last. Not like as in that means go steal, rape, pillage, and plunder. That means, have the best life that you possibly can. Do the best that you possibly can and live life to the fullest. Because really, especially with this whole pandemic that we've been going through, you really don't know when life could be over for you or your family members or your closest people. As I grew up, we didn't always say I love you, and we didn't always hug and all these other things. Most of the people that I am around most of the time now, I tell them that I love them. I look them in their eye and I tell them, I love you. I miss you. I'll see you later, okay? I hope it's not the last time I see you, but if it is, know that you're loved. And I mean that, because you really don't know. You really don't know. So
we have a new movement now, Dr. Adam. Give, love, serve, science, philosophy, art, and here's your green book.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Old school chiropractic.
100%. I have somewhere around here, I have the bigness of the fellow within. I should have got it before I got on this call, but yeah, not 100%. Give, love, serve out of the abundance of your own heart, without any expectation of anything in return. One more thing, some things that BJ has said have really stuck with me. And you never know, and of course I'm going to mess this up, but you never know how far-reaching something you say, do, or think can affect the lives of millions tomorrow. And I don't know if this was exactly what BJ said as well, but if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? So if it's not going to be me that doesn't put a face mask on and goes into a restaurant or goes into Lowe's or wherever, then who is? Who is going to stand up for our rights? Who's going to stand up for the little kids? Who's going to stand up for chiropractors in general? Because if we get swallowed up by medicine, it's over. Who's going to be alternative healthcare out there? So if not me, then who?
Check it out.
And if not now, then when?
Check it out. Here's where we wrap this up and, really have the conversation is you saying that means that you stand for it. And so many people don't know what to stand 100%. For now because they're so confused. And, yep. You being somebody that served this beautiful country and knowing what that meant to sacrifice, and you went to college for 7 years to become a doctor. I was telling a friend of mine this, that if somebody ever questions you, say, hi, my name is Dr. Adam Trachsel. I'm a doctor. I take care of people for a living. I take care of myself, and I choose not to wear a mask. Thanks.
Yep. 100%. My go-to, and it's just easier, is legitimately I do have a medical condition and I'm allergic to bullshit. So when I start to smell it or hear it, I can't breathe. So you definitely are not going to get a mask on me. Legitimately, I would tell this to any chiropractor or anybody out there. You got to stand up for what you believe in. if you think that a mask is going to save you or help you or keep you healthy or your patients healthy, then you're lying to yourself. Chiropractors have been ridiculed and raked over the coals for being unscientific, throughout the 100+ years that we've been a profession. There's no science behind any of these masks, and any of the science says that they don't work. A virus particle is much smaller than a lot of other things, drywall or any other thing that could get through that mask or be blocked through that mask. You spitting your droplets from your nose or your mouth. Are you kidding me? So yeah, we got to stand up and not only fight for, the people that can't say anything, but, we got to fight for our rights and our freedoms and our civil liberties and make George Orwell fiction again.
So how do you think the world would change if everyone started getting adjusted?
Oh, that's a dang good question. I like that question. Again, I think it was B.J. Palmer that said, had he had got his hands on Adolf Hitler and been able to adjust him, he would have been able to prevent World War II. I'm going to sound like a big homer here. I think that it would completely change all of healthcare. If we changed from a society, a sick care model of, you're sick and then you go into the doctor to go get your medication to get better. And we changed to one that was of preventative medicine and taking care of our health and our body. And we only went to the doctor when we were trying to prevent disease, which means, a good amount of the time. I think that we wouldn't have pharmafia anymore. We wouldn't have big pharma. We wouldn't have a lot of these nasty businesses like Monsanto. I feel like people would be clear enough or well-adjusted enough to be like, we know that this company and all these other companies have not only been charged with fraud and found guilty, but they've also known that they were causing cancer for years. And so all of these people need to be hung up in public. I come off a little rough sometimes, but I think that it would completely save the world because I think that a lot of our money goes to healthcare and insurances. And a lot of people in this generation now want Medicare for all, which I don't know how we plan on paying for that because we already owe something like $25 trillion. But yeah, it would change the whole landscape of healthcare and the world.
You made it to ChiroHustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
I love the answer, and I really think the simplest form of what you're talking about is your money's not good here.
Yeah.
Take your money somewhere else and buy some other people off because your money's not good here, and we're not going to take it anymore.
No. Yeah. So that was one thing about the Marine Corps and just in general in life. And even I see it in the chiropractic profession. I've never been too great at conforming, not just to society, but just in general. I guess I always had that attitude of why. I wanted to question things. And they didn't like that too much, not only in the Marine Corps, but they didn't really like that in chiropractic school as well. But you got to stand up for what you believe in. If you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for everything. And right now, it's really, really, really important that people flex their civil rights and their liberties and freedoms. And I would also like to say, not to get off on a long diatribe, a lot of change does need to happen. Our young people being shot and killed by the cops? Sure, 100%. At the same time, I think that there has been an agenda to divide and separate and conquer America. And there's been playbooks made that, detail exactly what's going on in America today. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist. I'd love to take that conspiracy theory title from Billy DeMoss. But the thing is I know it to be true. Whether you call it Agenda 21, whether you call it the Rockefellers, whether you call it the Bilderbergs, or the Billionaire Boys Club with Bill and Melinda Gates and Fauci and all of those guys. Yeah, the time is now.
Exactly. And I want to ask you a question I've never asked anybody. What does it mean for you to be able to be on the show that's hovering over my shoulder? What does it mean for you to be able to do an interview with us in ChiroHustle?
100%. It's a real honor. Actually, I never, when I was younger, I never used to speak my truth, because really people would attack you if you started speaking whatever was true to you. And I think that ChiroHustle and Jim, I never met you before, Luke, but hey, if you're hanging out with Jim, you're a good guy. I think that Jim Chester stands for freedom. I think that I've seen how people, react to you sometimes on social media if they think that, what you're saying is conspiracy or not true or whatever. It's a real honor for me to be on ChiroHustle, and please, please, please invite me back. I'll bring the fire way more on. We could do the top 10 conspiracies. It doesn't matter. I appreciate you guys. And like I said, this is like the chiropractic Joe Rogan.
Where do you see the profession going in 20 years?
Ooh, that's a good one too. Man, I see, I want to be an optimist. So I'm going to give you the good, but I'm also a realist. So I'll give you that other side as well. I see a lot of the joint chiropractic opening up. I see a lot of, and they talked about this at ChiroFest, health stores and all these big conglomerates that are either going to suck up the little guy chiropractor who's just trying to see families and anybody and everybody that they can, and they got their hands in L&I, and they got their hands in private insurance, and they got their hands in cash, and they got their hands in car accidents and third party. I hope that we don't go the way of the ACA. I hope that we don't go the way of we're just back pain and neck pain specialists. I hope that chiropractors can continue to come together and learn the philosophy, science, and art, and really fall in love with the profession and what it was based on. And that right there would make it to where not only was the chiropractic profession saved, but we would have a bigger reach. We'd see more than 10% of the population. If I'm to be honest, I really hope that these bigger businesses don't swallow the small guy up, but I could see it going that way. I feel there's a good amount of people that want us to go the way of medicine or evidence-based chiropractic. And what I'd like to say to that is evidence and research. There is confirmation bias and industry bias and basically all of it. And not only, and you can say they're BS, but the Lancet and the New England Journal, their editors in chief had said that more than 90% of the peer review that comes across their table is complete BS and not true whatsoever. So if you guys want to go towards your evidence-based chiropractic, well, good luck, buddy, because we'll see who's funding that research and then what their motives are behind it. So I hope that everybody still stays true to themselves. I hope that, people are still doing cash. You know, like I said before, we do work injuries and PIP. Stop taking cash. Maybe we'll start taking silver. Hope and pray that we can have some of that old school leadership, like Fred Barge, like Sid Williams, like BJ, like guys like Billy DeMoss, you know, now. And there's a lot of other big chiropractors that I think really lead the way. And for me, you know, I'll follow people that are willing to stick their neck out, you know, that are willing to say what's on their heart and their mind and not worry about what others think. You know, Billy says whatever the hell he wants. And you know what? I'm proud as hell as a chiropractor that I could call him a colleague or a mentor, because it's people like that you follow into war 100%. It's not people who are like, oh, well, actually, we're going to analyze this, and we're going to make the proper diagnosis and proper referrals to ortho and neuro. And, you know, we're going to get them on some PT. And, yeah, then we'll manage their case and see if they need a surgical consult, you know, afterwards. I think really chiropractic needs those people to stand up and say, the power that made the body heals the body. And if you believe that your body can heal itself, then all you need is a chiropractor to help facilitate that. And really, you can be healthy without all this other stuff. And it's an amazing life. You know, for anybody who doesn't live that life, you can't really understand, because they think that they need their blood pressure medication to stay alive. And I'm telling you that you don't. You know, I'm sure a bunch of people have said that, you know, on this podcast, but you can live a life free of drugs and nasty food and, you know, exercise, have good relationships, get good water in, and you're going to take care of 90% of the stuff, the ailments, the chronic disease that's out there. So.
Dropping bombs, son.
So tell us about some of your marketing tactics. How do you market yourself as a chiropractor?
The big one lately has been Facebook and Facebook ads. A little bit ago, we hit it hard with Google Maps and being number one on Google Maps. You know, we've gotten our reviews up as much as we possibly can. We don't mess around with Yelp because Yelp screwed us. We have done mailers in the past. We have an email chain, you know, that we send out to people. One thing I definitely am always asking for and will always ask for is people's referrals. And legitimately, you do have to ask people. You can't be like, hey, you know, it'd be really nice if, you know, there's anybody else in your life that could use chiropractic. No, you have to ask for it. And that's been really successful for us. We always have a Wednesday night class. And I was taught this by Billy DeMoss and other big timers that you got to have a new patient orientation. And you invite their friends and their family. Do they always bring them? No, but a lot of the time they'll bring their spouse. And if their spouse was in that car accident as well, I mean, you do the math on it, that's 2 times what you were going to get before. So that really helps. We always remember people's birthdays. We have monthly or maybe sometimes quarterly giveaways. You know, I think that we could always do even more of that. And either you have a basket or, you know, a drawing for them to win an Amazon gift card or whatever, what have you. If you live near a sports franchise, people love their sports games. Now, things are going to be a little bit different, obviously, with this whole COVID 1984 hoax. But, you know, before you could – so I had this last year, and I didn't tell you this, Jim. I'm a big Portland Trailblazers fan. And – for the first time in my life, I bought. You still okay? There we go.
You're getting a phone call, aren't you?
But I had. What's that?
You're getting a phone call, aren't you?
I don't know. That was weird. It just kind of went off there. But
I heard you
I
say
had
COVID 1984 scam. They're like,
they're watching us exactly.
Let's flush this one quick.
They're like, hey, like I said, actually I didn't say this. I had a top secret security clearance in the Marine Corps, and I'm definitely on a list. So, either that's going to bring more people to your podcast or they're going to shut it down. I had season Blazer tickets, and literally I was 8 rows up from the court, 8 rows. And then they shut the whole thing down, and there was about 5 games left at the end of the season that I didn't get to see, and each game, each ticket per seat cost me $250, and I had 2 seats. So I lost some cash there, and us playing against the Lakers, that would have been, even if we got swept and we only had 2 games in Portland, I would have made probably about $4,000, off of just those 2 games right there, which would have been half the season. That's a little diatribe that, I just got off on my soapbox there. But if you have a sports team around you and you have season tickets, or you don't even have to get season tickets, buy a 5-pack and, get rid of those, every other month or something like that, or during the season, have a drawing, and people will, sign up, and they will get their friends and family signed up, and they'll refer more people into the office. Of course, getting people to write reviews for you, that you've done well for them. All of these things have really helped us overall. Before, when I was a little bit younger, they're like, your website, and this and that. We have changed the website around, but I don't know. I saw mixed success with that. And if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on something, don't spend it on your website to try and revamp your website unless it's just absolute trash. I'd say throw that at some Facebook ads, even if Zuckerberg's going to, censor us. I think those, if you can direct them towards your target market, which, Facebook is getting better at their demographics and finding those people that, need you, and you have a good enough offer. I've seen a bunch of my friends and a bunch of my people, doing it, and it works. Chiro Queens, I don't know if I'm allowed to, say other. They have been some people that I have heard have helped, and he's a chiropractor that just does some Facebook ads for people. So yeah.
Well, it's awesome that you kind of find the trend and ride the wave. I think it's interesting to hear how you've implemented different strategies for yourself, and it is all about the people. And I learned this from Grant Cardone. I said this earlier in our earlier podcast. People will do more for a game than they will for work. And if you can teach people how to gamify anything, any process, they will stick more to the gamification of you giving away tickets than anything else.
Yes.
You think you're going to have dinners and lunches and people are going to show up? Nope. You give away a ticket and you're going to have more information coming in for a free ticket than you will to any dinner, than you will to any lunch, than you will to any talk. And you're going to be like, all right, here's a ticket to the nosebleed section of a Broncos game. And people are going to like give you their baby's number and name.
Yes. Yes. And so Chris Zano, and I don't mean to, call anybody out, and I'm not calling him out. He was big on health talks, and I did health talks for a little bit. And don't get me wrong, I'll still do a health talk. Put me in front of Amazon or Google or whoever, and I'll do a health talk. I'll health talk till the cows come home. But at the same time, now things are going to be a little bit different. Who else? Dinners. Yeah, dinner with the doc. That's cool. But at the same time, yeah, I'll go spend $300 or even $500 for 2 tickets for a nosebleed. You wouldn't even have to spend that much. But people will almost sell their soul so they can see, the Broncos all the way up at the top of Mile High.
So let's talk about you a little bit. I know we've been jamming a lot on Chiro. What are some of your hobbies? What do you listen to? What do you read?
I was reading 10X just a little bit ago. I was listening to Gary John Bishop, How to Unfuck Yourself. That was really good. He has this Scottish accent, so it's really easy to listen to. He's entertaining.
I don't think anybody listens to me for my voice.
What's that?
I don't think anyone listens to me for my voice.
Oh no, that's the only reason why I listen to you, actually, Jim. You know that they used to say bedroom eyes. You got a bedroom voice.
Oh, sweetie.
You sound like one of those 1-900 numbers.
I'll leave my number in the chat.
Your 1-900 number. Let's see. There was another one here. Tim Gay, who was the Life West Health Center chiropractor or president or whatever. He recommended this book. It was like the little red book of selling or sales. And that was really awesome. I do not have that book on me right now. So I've got a lot of stuff, and I wanted to ask you about this particularly, and we probably won't have time today, but I've got a lot of Tony Robbins stuff. And there was something you said just the other day about Tony Robbins, and I don't know, I want to dig into that deeper, at some point in time in our lives, whether that be, later or whenever. But I don't know, I listened to a lot of Tony Robbins stuff, and I was on that NLP, NeuroLinguistic Programming, because I had other chiropractors like Eric McKillican, rest in peace, Nancy McKillican. He told me and taught me about NeuroLinguistic Programming, and Joe Felicia, who was a chiropractor. And I thought just a long time ago, NLP and chiropractic should go hand in hand. I think that, I read a lot of stuff about that. 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I've read a lot of the classic, chiropractic self-help, how to be a millionaire. I was just reading The Bigness of the Fellow Within. That was the last green book that I had my hands on. And I do think that philosophy and being philosophically based is really important, because if there's no philosophy or reason behind what you're doing, then you're kind of just out there aimlessly, just kind of wandering around, and maybe you don't exactly have purpose. I'm not to say that that's all chiropractors, because I would say a good amount of the profession has never picked up a green book, and that doesn't, I haven't read all of them, and I'm not saying that you have to, but you do have to have something behind what you do. And I think philosophy is very, very important in a person's life.
Well, what do you like to do besides read and listen to personal development stuff and do ChiroHustle podcasts?
Yeah. Also when I was younger as well, right when I was getting out of chiropractic school, I was listening to Dr. Ed Osborne, and I think you gave him a shout out the other day. And I definitely legitimately wanted to do a podcast. I love that. I love being able to talk shop with, people who are interested in what I'm interested in. And I love people. My hobbies are working out. I like to, try and focus on that. I have a 7-year-old son, so as much as I can see him and play with him, we're always going to the park. I'm always playing tag. I'm the equalizer in tag, because a little kid will get tagged and then he'll be the slowest or whatever, and then I let them tag me, and then I'll go tag the other kids. I always want to stay young. my body is starting to feel it as I see more and more people here in my life. But, I always want to stay young, and health just in general is a passion for me. So like I like to listen to and read things like Josh Axe, before, when I was in chiropractic school, first off, Life West, every single day that you walked into Life West, and most people will attest to this, it reeked of cannabis. As soon as you walked into campus, I swear to you, sorry, Ron Oberstein, sorry, Brian Kelly, but it's true. Now, just in general, chiropractors are against opiates and things like that. And cannabis saved my life. And I'm not just talking about THC, CBD as well really helped me. And learning all the science and the research behind that, I love to study. I am a forever student. I like to work out. I like to go talk with the old ladies at the health food store. I like to connect with people. DeMartini said that you should be talking about chiropractic and you should be doing it. And when I'm not doing chiropractic, I'm talking about it, so much so that, people will roll their eyes if I'm ever, out and about and I'm talking about chiropractic. They're like, what do you do for your health? I'm like, well, I know it sounds crazy, but chiropractic saved my life, literally saved my life. So.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to talk with like-minded people like you guys, everybody else out there, they probably think that Jim and Luke is absolutely nuts. How could you let Dr. Adam Trachsel on your podcast? Because this guy's a conspiracy theory nut. But, I like to have fun. And you know what? There was this comedian the other day or whatever. He was like, hey, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but for those of you that are out there that don't believe in any conspiracies, do you just think that the government is batting 1,000? You think that they got it right every single time? That every single conspiracy is wrong? Literally? I mean, I think that is the definition of sheep. If you just follow the herd, if you're doing exactly what the Channel 8 News tells you, hey, good luck on that. I don't see it working out too well for a lot of other people. A lot of people are scared, but yeah, I like talking to like-minded individuals. There's a lot of crazy chiropractors out there, but not all of them that can always jam on this level because they got their preconceived notions, or they don't want to be looked at as a conspiracy theorist. That might bring down their rating on Facebook or their how many stars they've got on Google. We can't hurt our reputation. Oh no. Hey, do your own thing. People are going to follow the people that they want to follow. And you know what? If you're speaking along the same lines as them, they're going to vibe with you and they're going to come to see you. So don't be scared to speak your truth. America, for some reason, lost its balls or its ovaries, and we've got to get those back. Yeah.
So what are some websites or social media links where people can learn more about you?
You can learn more about us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Bay Center Chiropractic. We do the Twitter. We do the Instagram, Bay Center Chiro. Up in Olympia, we have a website, baycenterchiropractic.com. Yeah. I'm about to expand here. I'm going to get out of the bubble that I'm in currently, and I want to take over PIP, car accidents and work injuries here in Washington, along the I-5 corridor. So all of you other chiropractors out there, I already had that idea, so you better not try and take that.
Well, Dr. Adam, we really appreciate you being our guest tonight. And it's been a lot of fun getting to chop it up and serve it with you. And this episode of ChiroHustle is one for the record books. And when we intro you, Luke's going to say, what do we say on the intros?
Welcome to ChiroHustle.
Welcome to ChiroHustle, episode 188. Today we interviewed Dr. Adam Trachsel. I'm Luke, and this is your host, Jim Chester. And I'll say, hey, so today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Adam Trachsel. And if you want to hear some real talk, stay tuned.
I thought that was a trick question.
That's right. Yeah, man, I really appreciate this opportunity. ChiroHustle podcast, it's the best podcast out there. Doesn't matter what anybody else says, they're wrong. So you can hear that. That's straight from the horse's mouth. If you guys want to basically 10x your buns and 10x your practice and 10x your money in your bank account, then you're going to listen to ChiroHustle podcast. If you don't, then you can get lost or kick rocks. So you choose.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
We'll see.
Seriously, we got to do this again sometime. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon, okay?
All right, man.
Have a good one.
One love. Peace.
See you.
Thanks for listening to ChiroHustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.